Hi betting experts, on Saturday, April the 27th, got cracking action, 6 races on ITV on Saturday, brilliant racing from Sandown where the ground's dried up, nearly good ground there, although there is a bit of rain in the forecast. Leicester and Haydock also on ITV, a race each, very testing ground at both. We start off with our betting expert Daily Nap, sponsored by Bet365. This goes in the day's feature, the 335, the Bet365 Gold Cup, a handicap chase over 3 miles, 4.5 furlongs, a real test of stamina on drying ground, and I think it's made for 3 under through 5, who's around about 6 or 7 to 1. I think much better value than the short price favourite Kitty's Light. Now this progressive chaser is fresh, which is crucial at this stage of the season. He comes here after a 70-day break and he's only run 3 times through the winter. He needs decent ground. He's a sound jumper. He stays 4 miles, so 3 mile, 4.5 furlongs will be no issue at all, and I think his jumping over these demanding fences will be a real plus. He's got a good strike rate, 5 from 13. He's still improving at the age of 9. He's got Cobden up. Plenty of these have been on the go all winter in deep ground and will probably be jaded, whereas Nichols is expert at freshening up these sort of horses for these big Saturday prizes, and I'm confident he'll go really well. I thought he was favourite on form and he should take plenty of beating with a clean run round. Our betting expert value angle selection, sponsored by Bet365, goes in the 150 at Sandown. This is the Bet365 Novice Championship final handicap hurdle over 2 miles. I think this is absolutely made for Secret Squirrel at around about 10 to 1 for Hughie Morrison. Now, he's a progressive young hurdler. The negatives are, well, he's still very free, raw, and he can hit a hurdle, but he's been running in small fields, not settling, winning a couple of times, having raced with the choke out on all 4 occasions, and he's only won narrowly, which has certainly helped his opening handicap mark. He's got loads more ability than that, and I think if David Bass can ride him patiently off a strong pace rather than racing up on the hammer with the choke out throughout, I think you'll see him in a much better light. He's got plenty of pace, so drying ground should suit him, and hopefully he'll settle for the first time. There should be plenty more to come from him. I think he's very well handicapped because of his tendency to mess around in front and not win by very far, which has helped him in that regard. The remaining 4 races on ITV, we'll do them in time order. Over to Leicester, the 205. This will be pretty desperate stuff over a mile. It's the King Richard III handicap. I think Big Bear Hug is very interesting here for Adam West. Now, Adam is a good young trainer going places. He is 0 from 15 in the past fortnight, but they've mainly been running well, and Big Bear Hug is race fit from the all-weather. Ran really well when gambled on last time out at Nottingham. I thought a little bit unlucky, sent off 6 to 5 on, left with a little bit to do and then slightly squeezed out when closing at odds on. She's got race fitness on her side, and I think the key here is going to be pretty desperate at Leicester. He's booked the promising £7 claimer Alice Bond, so Big Bear Hug's got an absolute flyweight in bad ground and is fully fit. This race is cut up quite badly. It looks a pretty good opportunity. Back to Sandown, the 225, the Oaksey Chase, a grade 2 over 2 miles 6. Well, Hitman has been extremely hard to place all season. He's one of those horses. He's not good enough in grade 1s really, and he's far too high up the ratings to be a factor in any handicap, so Paul Nicholls has struggled to find opportunities for him. He's sort of been fairly big prices in races he can't win, but this is a much more suitable opportunity. He's always run well at Sandown in the past. I suspect drying spring ground might help him these days over this kind of trip. He probably wouldn't have been a certain stayer in his early days, but I think he'll get it now. He's not had many runs this season either, so he should be relatively fresh, and obviously Cobden booked a big plus. Over to Haydock for the 245, a handicap over 7 furlongs. Again, a race that's cut up badly on deep ground, but I thought Rainbow Fire was interesting with Marco Botti going really well. He's had 3 winners in the last fortnight. Rainbow Fire is another one of those horses. I think he's been running himself fit on the all-weather without making much impression, and perhaps a stiff 7 furlongs here on deep ground will help him. He has actually won 3 of his 7 starts on the turf, so he's relatively prolific in this spear. Perhaps the all-weather isn't for him, and he's become quite well treated as a result. And finally, back to Sandown for the celebration chase at 3 o'clock, a grade 1 over 2 miles. Well, John Bond has ended up having quite a good season without impressing everyone. I don't think he's straightforward by any means, and I think he's another horse who doesn't do a lot in front, but he did enough to see off Conflated at Aintree last time out. He only really produces, he doesn't race away from the last when he's asked to win, which is why you keep getting quite reasonable prices about him, but he's run All of his efforts at Sandown are excellent, so I think the track suits him, and I do think his main rival, El Fabiola, I know people pointed to the blunder at Cheltenham. I'm not sure that was the full story. He did make a bad mistake, but I didn't like the way he was immediately pulled up, so he has got something to prove at the prices, whereas John Bon, you know he's going to give his running, and he will love the drying spring ground. Best of luck with all 6 ITV races on Saturday, betting experts.